Welcome to this cooking demonstration series, Curry in a Hurry. I'm Michelle Singleton, a registered dietitian and the Assistant Director of Nutrition Education Programs in the Division of Recreational Sports at Purdue University. Today's recipes will feature some ingredients that you can find at your local food pantry, provided by the Emergency Food Assistance Program, also known as TFAP. Each recipe will explore a traditional Indian dish and will incorporate a variety of spices. I'll be mentioning alternatives to some ingredients as we go along and discuss the health benefits of these foods. And with that, let's get started with some baked chicken and cilantro mint chutney. Let's start off by introducing the ingredients. We're going to be using 4 6-ounce boneless skinless chicken breasts, 3 tablespoons of onion finely diced, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 3/4 teaspoon of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1½ teaspoons of canola oil. Now we're going to be using canola oil in this recipe today, but you could also substitute with vegetable oil if you have that at home. We also have a Ziploc bag here. You could use a Tupperware if you happen to have that at home, and that's what we're going to be mixing some of the ingredients in. We also have some nonstick cooking spray here. So let's move on to the ingredients for the chutney. We have 1 cup of fresh cilantro, 1/2 cup of fresh mint leaves, 1/3 cup of green onions or scallions, 1 tablespoon of jalapeno, and then 1 teaspoon of canola oil. Again, we're going to be using canola oil in this recipe, but if you happen to have vegetable oil at home, you can use that as well. To finish off the chutney, we'll also be using 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. As a reference, this recipe makes 8 servings, which is about 3 ounces of chicken and 1½ tablespoons of the chutney. So first we're going to get started with our chicken. As you can see here, I have some chicken that I have previously butterflied, so I just took a chicken breast and then used a knife to put it in the middle and then to make some thinner pieces. When you have these thinner pieces, that actually helps to decrease the cooking time. If you don't feel comfortable butterflying the chicken, you can also use a rolling pin to help to flatten it out. So what I'm going to do is take the chicken, and I'm going to put this into one of our Ziploc bags. And again, if you don't have a Ziploc bag, you can use a Tupperware container. And I'm using tongs to not get my hands dirty. So after we've got the chicken in the bag, I'm going to combine the onion and our garlic powder and also our cayenne pepper. So we've got all of our spices in there, and now we need the wet ingredients, so I'm going to add our oil. And I'm just going to eyeball it here. So we've got enough oil in there, and we're going to seal up the bag. And we're going to just massage it in our hands. Now, when you're massaging it, that helps to incorporate all of the flavors. And when you really think about an Indian diet, that incorporates a lot of variety of spices and fresh ingredients. And that helps to make the meals lighter and also more flavorful. So I've got the chicken all marinated here, and then what we'll do is that we will add the cumin. We want to make sure that we're adding that final spice. And then I'm going to give it another kind of massage between my hands, and then that's going to go into the refrigerator, and that's going to marinate for about 2 hours to really let all of the flavors just marry together. I'm going to set it aside because what I happen to have is some that has already been marinating in the refrigerator. So I'm going to take the chicken, and I have a baking dish here that I'm going to spray with nonstick cooking spray. And by using the nonstick cooking spray, this helps to provide a nonstick surface, but it also is not adding any additional fat. We've got that all nice and sprayed. And I'm going to take our chicken that has been marinating, and I'm going to use those tongs again to pull it out. And then just set it right into the baking dish. And I'm going to take our salt, and then I'm going to sprinkle that just to season it. And then what we're going to do is put this into a 400 degree oven. It's been preheated. And when we're putting it into the oven, we want to make sure that it cooks for about 20 minutes or until it reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's going to make sure that we cook off any potential bacteria or foodborne illness. So next we're going to get started with our cilantro mint chutney. Chutney is a traditional dip or relish that can be made either salty or sweet, and today we're going to be making it more on the salty side. So let's combine our ingredients. We've got our cilantro, and all of these are just going to go into a bowl and then they're going to get mixed up really well. And if you happen to have a food processor at home, you could use that too, but this is going to work great. Next we're going to add our green onions or scallions, followed by our finely chopped mint, and then some diced up jalapeno. Once we've got that all together in the bowl, we need to be adding our wet ingredients. So we're gonna add about a teaspoon of oil, and then we're also gonna add some cumin to give it a nice flavor. So we're just gonna mix this all up till all the ingredients are combined and then they're nice and wet to put on our chicken. Now, when you're thinking about the oil that we actually have in this dish, we're using canola oil, and that's gonna be a great heart-healthy fat. It's a good source of monounsaturated fatty acids, and this actually helps to reduce your LDL, or your bad cholesterol, and also reduce your risk for heart disease. It's going to be one of the richest cooking oil sources of alpha-linolenic acid, which is an omega-3 fat that's been shown to help with heart health. Canola oil also has a great neutral taste and texture, which makes it great for baking and sautéing. Well, it looks like our chicken is done, so let me go ahead and grab that out of the oven. Set that right here, and then let me close the oven door. This chicken is looking absolutely beautiful. So it's been in there for about 20 minutes, but of course we want to make sure that it is done. So I'm going to use my meat thermometer, and you want to test it in the center and in the thickest part of the meat, and that's where you're going to get the temperature to see if it is done. So it's well over 165 degrees, so we know that the chicken is cooked thoroughly. So I'm going to plate it up. So I have some tongs here, and don't worry, they're clean tongs, not ones that I used earlier when I put the chicken into the bag. So I'm going to take the chicken breast and put it on our plate. And then don't forget about that mint chutney that we had from earlier. So we've got that. And I'm going to give it another quick toss and just add it right on to the chicken. And you can use as little or as much as you like. I love the green color that it adds, and it adds a wonderful flavor too. All right. Now, you didn't think that I wasn't going to taste it, right? So let's give it a go. Make sure that we get some of the chutney on there. The cumin and the cilantro and the onion. All of the flavors are just melding together so beautifully. I hope that you all try this recipe at home. Stay tuned for our next dish. We're going to be making our fall vegetable curry.